Like, he was just in a really exciting fight where he got up off the deck twice and knocked the guy out, right? And it seems as though since the Donaire fight, he's had 2 chances on HBO to impress people. Agbeko and now Francisco. And the funny thing is, he fought 24 rounds and won 24 rounds. And yet they were boring rounds, a lot of them. Like tonight, there were a lot of boring rounds. I'm not going to deny that. That was pretty obvious. You know, when you're only landing 7 punches against a guy. But that's who Rigondeaux is. The original Belichick Patriots, the Rams were this amazing offense, and the Patriots would kind of bore you to a win by a field goal or something, right? They needed another great team to show you how great they were. They weren't going to show you that against mediocrity. And this is frequently the case with great defensive fighters or teams. They against mediocrity, they can look underwhelming because they're negating the other side's offense. What they need to show you how great they really are is a great team, a great opponent. Rigondeaux looked great against Donaire, and I wonder how he'd look against Chocolatito. Rigondeaux said he'd meet him at 18. The fact is, fight night, they both weigh about 126. They're about the same size.
Bueno, me siento bien de firmar con Nonito, lo que tenía que haber pasado hace mucho tiempo, y espero la oportunidad de trabajar con ellos y ellos conmigo y hacerlo más grande lo que se pueda.
I'm glad they came. I'm really happy that I joined their family. They're a great company that's going to help take my career to the next level.
No es nada que me saca de mis obligaciones, pero ya estamos aquí, ya este es el momento ahora de cuando cuentan las cosas.
It usually happens in my career, so I'm kind of used to it. I don't let it affect my training or my everyday workouts, but you know, lots of anxiety to get back in the ring, and I'm ready to go.
All right, in 2016, will we get to see El Chacal, Guillermo Rigondeaux versus high-tech Vasyl Lomanchenko? Now, I want to stay optimistic. Politics aside, catch weights aside. Look, I'm not in favor of catch weights, but I'd rather see the fight happen than never happen. You understand? Now, Guillermo Rigondeaux and Vasyl Lomachenko are 2 of the best boxing, purest boxers out there. 2 of the best technicians in the respectively mid-range, similar weight classes, right? Give or take. Even though Lomachenko's a little bigger, you know what I'm saying? If this fight were to come to fruition, this would be the best boxing match ever, like, of all time. 2 Olympian gold medalists from both sides. Like, who wins? Well, I want to see it. Shit, throw that shit on pay-per-view. I would pay to see that. It'd be almost like watching Floyd Mayweather versus Erislandy Lara. You know what I'm saying? 2 Olympians, just the best, man. Vasyl Lomachenko versus Guillermo Rigondeaux would be a hell of a fight. I mean, not only would it be a hell of a fight, a hell of a pure boxing match, Olympian boxing matches from 2 separate eras. I'm not even too sure how I know obviously Guillermo Rigondeaux is probably like 10 years older than Vasyl Lomachenko, but skill for skill, man, it'd be great. Obviously, Vasyl Lomachenko's a little bit bigger, a little bit taller, but I mean, I've been hearing that Rigondeaux can outbox welterweights, so I mean, you know, Rigondeaux is a very small dude. He's like around Chocolatito's weight class, like 5 pounds bigger than him. So that'd probably be more of a realistic fight will happen. But anyway, Rigondeaux finds himself, I mean, obviously evaded, right? And nobody really wants to fight him. He's high risk, low reward. But I mean, we gotta, man, I don't even want to talk about shit like that. But Vasyl Lomachenko versus Guillermo Rigondeaux would be one hell of a fight. It would be so easy to promote as well. It should be a fight that hopefully in 2016 we get to see. Look, Rigondeaux can probably fight till he's 40 years old. Obviously he'll be deteriorating, but he shows no signs of it. That boy's in tip-top shape. That dude is incredible. Even when he gave, I guess you can call it a boring fight. I call him a fine wine. You know what I'm saying? When he fought that dude in the Canelo Alvarez undercard, you know, Rigondeaux could have obviously looked better, but he looked pretty good. It was actually not that great of a boxing fight in terms of excitement, but hey, you got to give Rigondeaux some credit, man. He's been off like a year or whatever, and he was just going in there with a dude that you never know could have basically knocked him down. I believe in like past fight, Rigondeaux had been dropped 2 times by an Asian guy, Japanese something. So hey, give Rigondeaux some credit. I know sometimes it's very hard to sit there and just watch some guy just jab another dude by death by a million blows. So I understand. Trust me, I understand. But that's his style. You know, you gotta appreciate boxing to the fullest. He might not be your favorite cup of tea, but hey, just like there's so much plates of food out there, whether you have Asian, American, Mexican, any type of food out there, you may prefer one over the other, but hey, you still get to pick and choose. You know what I'm saying? The same thing with Rigondeaux, man. Boxing is boxing, and honestly, Lomachenko versus Rigondeaux would be the best boxing match that we can possibly see. 2 gold medalists, so 4 gold medals in total from both camps. I mean, come on now. Come on now. The fight easily sells itself, and these guys don't even need to speak English. Obviously, if they spoke English, it'd be that much better. But come on, man. Give us this fucking fight. It would be a fucking blast to watch this shit. It would be fantastic. But, man, it's frustrating, man. It's very frustrating just as a boxing fan knowing... I mean, I'm not even going to say money or politics aside. These promoters can definitely make these fights happen. It's just their refusal to make things happen. Look, if Lomachenko loses to Rigondeaux, it's not going to fake Lomachenko. Or Lomachenko lost to Salido. He should have been disqualified Salido, but that's beside the point. He already lost. It does not diminish his greatness. Rigondeaux loses to Lomachenko, so what? It's not going to diminish Rigondeaux's greatness. You know, same thing with Nonito Donaire when he lost to Rigondeaux. It shouldn't have diminished his greatness, but again, because it's not that none of these guys are bums or they're pussy. It's none of this. It's that because boxing fans have, I don't know, man. I don't know what it is with these guys, but the fans hate one another, right? They choose this style over this style, and then you have these feuds between one another, and then you attribute it to that boxer. So, for example, let's say I'm a casual and you're an elitist, a boxing elitist, and I say something stupid. So you hate what I say, right? But doesn't mean just because you hate what I say gives you the right to hate on that fighter that I like or dislike. You should just be like, okay, you'll take it with a grain of salt. You don't have to be offended by what I say. Just be like, I disagree. Drop some good fucking 5% of knowledge on my ass so I can learn what the hell I'm talking about. And then boom, you don't have to dislike the fans of that boxer, and therefore you have to dislike the boxer. It shouldn't be equal to that. Like if you hate this fan or these certain types of fans, right, doesn't mean you should hate that type of fighter. It just means, okay, that's not your favorite fighter, but I mean, to really hate a fighter, somebody you don't really know, does that even make sense? That's almost like back in the day, you know, culture clashes when people wouldn't even be, when people would already have these preconceived notions and hate on a race, never even have meet them or shaken their hand. You just take word for word at face value what somebody else says about that dude. You never know, that dude could probably been your best friend. He could have saved your life, dodged a bullet in front of you, right? Just to prove to you that he's a good human being, but because your friend doesn't like him, therefore you have to dislike that dude. Maybe your friend is in the wrong or some shit. Anyway, Guillermo Rigondeaux versus Vasyl Lomanchenko would be one hell of a fight. And, well, I don't know about a hell of a fight, but a hell of a boxing match. And I, for one, am a big fan of both guys. I don't care about boxers that lose or fighters that lose or anything. I want to see these guys keep fighting because, or as long as they can, and keep giving to their supply. Obviously, I don't want to see them fight every other day, but I mean, you know, 4 times a year, is that too much to ask for? Anyway, Vasyl Lomachenko versus Guillermo Rigondeaux would be one hell of a fight. Both guys are always in tip-top shape. Both guys are professionals. They're very cool, calm, reserved folk. And man, dude, you know, catching up on boxing is very it's my passion. I love this sport, but these fights never get to happen, and I'm just kind of losing my head. The Jackal, El Chacal, Guillermo Rigondeaux. Now, we talk about fair representation, right? When I do these modern day videos, Guillermo Rigondeaux is the best, purest boxer we have in the sport. He's the most superior one. And he's more superior than Floyd Mayweather. Hold it right there. He's more superior than Floyd Mayweather in boxing, right? He's a guy who won 2 gold medals. That should say it enough. He's a guy that, just by throwing that phrase out there, he's more of a superior boxer than Floyd Mayweather, should be an incentive for these boxing, you know, infrastructures, HBO, Showtime, BBC, to be backing up Guillermo Rigondeaux. That in itself should sell. Guillermo Rigondeaux should not be fighting in Japan against unknown fighters. Maybe they are known, maybe they do have good records, but they're not even being publicized here in America. And that right there is bullshit. Here's a dude who's 15-10, right? Undefeated, That's like a 70% knockout ratio, right? So he does knock down his opponents. Now his biggest fight to be either notorious or infamous or very famous or well known is the Nonito Donaire fight. And in that fight, that was not a boring fight. That was a very strategic, break you down from head to toe fight from Rigondeaux. Rigondeaux in that fight was very patient because he knew who he was up against, and that's Nonito Donaire, a knockout artist. In that fight, Nonito was, I don't remember too much, but he was off the shelf. Like, he hadn't fought for a good minute, and Rigondeaux was knocking on the door, right? Rigondeaux was very patient in that fight. That fight was very tense because you knew both guys, especially Donaire can knock out Rigondeaux as he did in that fight, but you knew Guillermo can hurt Nonito because Rigondeaux is very patient, right? But the minute he explodes with that left hand, god damn, that left hand will scare the fuck out of anybody and give you cold feet, right? And that's what happened to Donaire. Donaire couldn't pull the trigger because he knew if he threw a lazy jab, that left hand, boom, right in your face, clacking you, ta-ta. Rigondeaux could have been a little more action-packed because he had the skill, right? But he still left his mark, right? Like Ray Lewis dropped that EA Sports video, leaving your mark, right? The mark to become immortal, and from years from now, people are looking at your film, looking up after you, saying, "Yeah, this is the reason why I joined the game." Rigondeaux left his mark on Donaire. I believe in the 10th, 11th, or 12th round, I'm not too sure which particular round it was, but he threw a left hand after it clogged Donaire right in the side of the eye, right? That whole round, Donaire couldn't even throw a punch because he was busy. He was seeing double, so he literally plastered his glove right on his face just to protect it. So now he's a one-man arm. Literally, that arm was broken because he wasn't even gonna get away from. He wasn't gonna throw. He's gonna protect his face, right? And like literally, he's a one-man fighter. It's like if you had broken his arm and he's trying to beat you with one arm. There's like some warrior shit. It ain't gonna happen, especially with a dude like Guillermo Rigondeaux. That's leaving your mark. That fight was very patient, very strategic, very great overall boxing from a two-time gold Olympic. People should have been backing up Guillermo Rigondeaux. But this is what happened. HBO, Bob Arum, and all these cats started saying, "Oh, our people don't want to talk about Rigondeaux. They're disgusted by him." You're a fucking promoter. You ain't supposed to be saying that shit. Rigondeaux could have made you a whole lot of money. He could have been fighting Nicholas Waters, that dude Miguel Mariaga, who fought Nicholas Waters lately. He could have been fighting Lomachenko. But because, and on pennies on the dollar, this guy wouldn't have been demanding millions. Look how much money you're giving Diego Chavez. $15,000 against T. Thurman or Timothy Bradley. $30,000. That may be a whole lot of money over there where he comes from, Diego in Argentina. But that's pennies on the dollar when you got to cop up like 180 to Manny Pacquiao and he gives a stinker. You understand? Rigondeaux, they just fucked Rigondeaux over. Now, a little bit of Rigondeaux. He's a two-time gold Olympic medal. His amateur record is like 300 plus fights, 12 losses, or some shit like that. 20 losses. I'm not too sure. That's like 100 wins and like 2 losses. I mean, come on now. That should say in itself. The Chacal, Guillermo Rigondeaux, literally is. He's a fucking bad man. He's bad, and it's unfair that these people don't, and we don't back him. Now, I understand because he doesn't speak English, so he loses a lot of that audience, right? But why? He speaks boxing, he speaks your language, and he knocks out, and you can be backing him up. But because of his skin color, there's this whole supremacy thing. I mean, they're saying they're disgusted by you. And how they disgusted by you if you knock out people, you left your mark against Nonito Donaire. That was a great fucking fight. I may just upload that fight if it's not up on the YouTube. That fight was very tense, and any given second, you knew somebody could get dropped. Here's the difference. Here's another thing. Guillermo Rigondeaux left his mark on that night. He should have been that new guy, and he should have been that new fish in a big pond. But he wasn't, which is a damn shame. Here's the difference between Guillermo Rigondeaux versus Nonito Donaire and Erislandy Lara versus Canelo. In Erislandy Lara, they never leave a mark on Canelo. What I mean by that is, yeah, maybe his eye poofed up a little bit, but never in that fight did Lara hurt Canelo. Canelo hurt Lara, busted him up. Maybe he wins the 5-7-5. Been no incentive to give Canelo the loss because Lara did not give that great of a performance. Now, if he had given a performance like Perro Angulo and maybe Canelo does, cut off the ring more. But understand that Lara was a challenger. He's the one that's got to take whatever he wanted from Canelo. Guillermo Rigondeaux took from Nonito Donaire, given the fact that not only was he kicking his ass and outboxing him and beating him to the punch, he did get knocked down. He got back up, one of the merits of boxing, but he landed a shot and had Nonito hurt and plastered with his eye just to protect his face. Understand? And he stole, when Nonito was in the ropes, he unleashed. They just fucked Guillermo, my boy, Rigondeaux. They just fucked him over. And Chacal needs better representation from that. One last thing. He's from Cuba, right? Now, let me just tell a little bit of story about Guillermo Rigondeaux. He was trying to throw his baby girl a birthday party, but because they didn't have enough money. This guy is a 2-time gold Olympic medal, meaning he should have had like 20 million in his pocket, because people that win like the gold medal, they get like 10 million for like their country, and Castro takes all that money, right? Because it's, I don't know, like communist or socialist. I'm not too sure. But that being said, he was trying to throw a birthday party for his little girl, and he had a gold teeth, right? He sold his gold tooth just to be able to throw his little girl a birthday party. You understand? So he got on the journey from the boat and came to the America and to give a better living. Now he's probably having a better living standard, right? He's got that financial freedom that one of the merits of America, capitalism allows to immigrants, is to get more from where you come from, right? Because the American dream applies for the immigrants, right? It applied for people that just wanted to start a whole new life, get away from the crown in England or wherever it is that you're coming from, and just make something of yourself. But with that comes, genocide, murder, etc. Right? That's the price you have to pay. Some of the dehumanizing aspects of just sometimes what you have to earn, right? Kind of selling your soul, so to speak. Guillermo Rigondeaux got away from Castro and he came to the Americas for that financial aspect, freedom of it, right? And he's prospering, but at the same time, we should be watching on HBO. He should be on these high televised networks, but because we're disgusted by him for the performance against Nonito Donaire, watch that fight. That fight was incredible. That fight was, come on, he was superior. He hurt the guy, he got knocked down, got back up. It was all around good fucking fight. It was dirty when Nonito dropped Rigondeaux. Rigondeaux was shoving Nonito's head to the ground. There was very mutual respect, everything, because the stakes were very high and they gave a world-class performance. Everything, the antithesis, the dilemma, the struggle of both fighters was shown, and there was resolve, and it was everything that you would wish in a boxing fight. That fight almost had like 40 of the year. You understand? Like that was like fight of the year. Well, I thought it was one of the best things I've ever seen in my life. Now, I didn't know Rigondeaux, so I was like, shit, he beat my boy Nonito, right? But then I got away from just who are the new fishes and new fishes, right? I just got away, just take your shit out, take your personal shit outside, drink a beer, and just enjoy this fucking fight and just watch the shots landed and look at it critically. Guillermo Rigondeaux, the Chacal, needs better representation of that from us fans, especially us fans. We need to be demanding. Now, we are demanding him against Lomanchenko, but realistically, I don't know if that's going to happen. The weights, Lomachenko is very persistent that he doesn't want to drop weight. Rigondeaux was like, dude, I'm a small ass dude. I'm like 119 pounds trying to fight you at 126 or whatever weight. I don't mind fighting you, but you got to give me some better odds. You got to give me an opportunity, a fair shake, right? Lomachenko's only got like 2 fights or 3 pro fights, and he's got like 2 gold medals or some shit. Legit. But if you look what happened with Orlando Salido should have been disqualified, but with the like 30 low blows that he landed Lomachenko. But hey, sometimes all fights ain't pretty. They're not all gonna be Olympic, and sometimes you gotta rug it out, get a headbutt in there, and fucking back Salido out. I thought it was a little too late. Salido just kept on throwing shots, boom, boom, boom. Was hella overweight, but hey, man, you're already fighting. There ain't no time to complain when you're in the ring. You can complain afterwards, but knock the motherfucker out. Lomachenko did that, but it was a little too late. That being said, he understood what happens when a guy is bigger than you. Guillermo Rigondeaux knows how that feels when a guy is bigger than you. The shots hurt that much harder. It's harder to knock these guys down. It's harder to just keep them honest. So they got to meet at a legit catch weight. That being said, Guillermo Rigondeaux needs us fans to be backing him up. This is the Chacal. He's the more superior boxer than Floyd Mayweather. I mean, just stop right there. How many fighters can you say are more superior than Floyd Mayweather?